I am live and I am looking at myself. It's really the first time that I'm looking at myself straight in the eye, unself-consciously. Well, I think I'm finally more comfortable with looking at myself. I just thought that I would come on this evening and talk about some astrology going on, and I wonder who will show up in the chat and if anyone will be watching at this hour. What I wanted to come on and talk about tonight, it's very huge, is we have this. Okay, I don't know what that is. Just clicking around at the different buttons and how it looks on the computer. And feel free to comment if you want to. We are entering the middle of June. And we have some astrology going on for the middle of June. Tomorrow we have Venus square Pluto, or Venus opposite Pluto. And that aspect is really, dynamic. A lot of, just a lot of power games coming out, a lot of difficulty with love, and where are you getting your power looked at very negatively, where are others going down in terms of power, where is that game of power really going nowhere and nothing's coming from it. Because the thing we have to ask ourselves, like, is something coming from this power? Something really coming from this sense of power that we have about ourselves with this Venus, Jupiter, Venus, Pluto opposition. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, and Pluto, the planet of power and secrets. So it's a good day to look at the power dynamics in your relationship. See what power dynamics need to be there, and see if the power is equally distributed. I talked today in the podcast on Saturn in Libra about power being distributed equally to everyone. That a successful relationship takes the power to be evenly distributed, and not one person has all the power and the other person doesn't have any power, is devoid of power and has to just give in, where the other person is more powerful in the relationship, where one person is more powerful and can kind of have this dynamic where there's where this one person is having the upper hand, ruling the roost. You must do this, you must do that. Saying, you must do all these things. You must be in charge of all this stuff. Or, no, wait, I'm in charge. I'm in charge now. And it will work out this way because I say so. And so that's kind of the dynamic that we're working with here. Is where are we, giving in, and where are we being overpowering to others in relationship? Where are we keeping ourselves from experiencing equality with this partner? Or am I keeping myself We're experiencing the equality that come in with power dynamics, power games. We're going to actively choose to not give in and not be the one controlling it, not be the one controlling the power, is really what we have to ask ourselves at this time. It can be tough. We're very tough when we're in those negative power dynamics. We have to fight for survival and fight for the things that we want, fight for bread, land, goodness, harmony, peace, happiness. And it can be hard to fight in those relationships. Venus opposed Pluto back on June 5th of 2023, and on that particular day, I know that my mom had a very unpleasant operation that she had to take, that she had to go to. And I remember that day I made a video on my original channel, which I'll post eventually. It was a live stream talking about Venus opposite Pluto. And on that particular day, I remember my dad was really, really stressed out. And the stress was coming through in how he was treating me, because he was being very, very judgmental and not his normal, cool, and calm and collected self. So there's a sense of fighting. There's a sense of butting heads with this aspect. Butting heads and not having a sense of that I can have the power, that I can have the control, that I can be the one in control, that I can run the ship very, very well. So that's going on. And then June 19th, and we have Venus trine Neptune. I think it's exact today. Venus in Leo and Neptune is in Aries. So with these two planets being involved, we have to look at our creative energy. How creative, how fluid, how open, how willing to create are we? How willing to create are we? And that comes in very hugely with Venus trine Neptune. Is how willing are we to create our own lives? Willing to carve out our own lives? Willing to make things happen for ourselves? Putting your creative heart and energy into something and believing and knowing that it'll work out. Having faith and expecting the best that it will work out, because it will. It's just an idea in your mind that it won't work out, but it will. So it's kind of the insecurity, the fantasy to grieve. But Venus trine Neptune is really about, can we make the creativity more open, expansive? Can we make it can we really choose to be in our heart space, be in our empathy, be in our compassion, with channeling this creativity? That's also Pisces energy, ruled by Neptune. This compassion, creativity. It is really channeling creativity from a fifth dimensional place, from a fifth dimensional realm, from another realm, and channeling it down. And in fire signs, it becomes very, very action-oriented. In fire signs, we want to take action on that creativity. We want to make it a reality. We want to actively act on that creativity. Because fire signs are about action, they're about making things happen. They're not about sitting at the wheel and not, acting and doing all this. They're about being very, very willing and assertive and dynamic when it comes to taking action to bring that creative vision to life, to manifest the creative vision and make it a reality. So, that is going on for us. And then we also have Chiron changing signs. Chiron is changing signs into Taurus on the 19th. And when it changes signs, it changes the story of wounds, of dynamism, of our healing state, of what we need to heal, of what we need to release at the time. Chiron in Taurus is healing the wounds of our insecurities about self. Are we basing our own sense of self-worth on food, land, things that we own, things that we're buying, things that we're working for, things that we're achieving? Are we basing our security on that? Or are we understanding that true security, true abundance is not the flashy cars or the flashy clothes or fancy houses or all this stuff, but it's really about an inner sense of security inside of you, that you can feel secure and validated and love yourself through feeling secure inside your own body, inside your own vessel, inside your own skin. Can you really, really feel secure inside your own sense of self, inside your own skin? I'm looking up at the window here because it's very difficult to look at myself when I'm talking. Can you feel secure with looking at your sense of self in that sense of the word, with what is going on like that? And I talk about Chiron and Taurus because Chiron and Taurus is really about releasing these qualities of survival, of always having to fight for every last crumb, having to fight for your slice of the pie, having to fight for food or resources or, whatever, having to fight for all this stuff, having to defend yourself, having to fight for every little scrap of food or whatever, like they did back in the Great Depression state of being. It's about loving our bodies and giving ourselves what we need, nourishing ourselves, and feeling worthy that we can nourish ourselves. Because at this time, with Chiron and Taurus, may bring up some feelings of like, I'm not worthy to nourish myself. I'm not deserving of nourishing myself. So you can work so hard and put your, foot to the metal and just charge full force instead of resting, slowing down, taking care of yourself, barefoot on the grass, getting to the simple rhythms of the earth, dropping into stillness, enjoying all the things that Taurus has to offer with the five senses. And when it conjuncts my North Node at 11 degrees, it will really, really bring up themes around self-worth. Self-worth themes. And themes of security about the self. Do I really feel worthy of, nourishing myself, taking care of my body, taking care of, my vessel? That could also be what it's bringing up. Or those things. Chiron and Taurus existed during 2 periods of time. It always is from the 6th to the 4th, 8 years. So 1926 to 1934, that was the lead up into the Great Depression, the build up. Remember what happened in October of 1929? We were buying all this stuff. We were buying, consuming, and it all came crashing down on October 29th, 1929, if I'm getting it correct, when the stock market crashed. And then everything, like the whole game shifted. Everything suddenly changed. Everyone was so wealthy, living the dream life with all the luxury and everything, and then it couldn't be more opposite the 1930s in America. There is this possibility during Chiron and Taurus of resources becoming scarce, becoming hard to come by, becoming hard to find. Becoming hard to hold on to. And we may need to look at where we can hold on to, where we can feel the sense of it's mine. We have to take all these things, take. And there is a strong pull of the soul during this time of ownership over our possessions. Taurus is a sign that is very, very earthbound, needs to have control over this earthly realm. And there is this need to own things, to be the one in control of our lives, to know that we are in control of this 3D realm. Like the earth signs want to be in control of the 3D. That's what they're ultimately seeking. So with Chiron and Taurus, comes down to really having this strong need, this strong pull toward, well, if we think about the 1920s and 30s, you didn't have a whole lot of money to be able to buy the things that you want for yourself. Scarcity in an abundant universe comes very difficult. These are all insights that I gained from a video that I was watching from an astrologer that was very deep, so kind of picking up these thoughts and sort of giving this contemplation. And I will contemplate this transit more as we go through the years of Chiron and Taurus. And I have videos for Chiron and Taurus in the Cosmic Sky podcast if you want to check those out. I did those back June 10th and 11th. So they're available for you to check out, both the collective reading and then the 12 sign reading. So that's what happened. But also throw in the Dust Bowl. Everything was depressing at that time. We really, really messed up in our methods of farming and agriculture. So much so that it created multiple storms over and over again, haunting people. Worried, when is the next storm going to come? I actually was seeing a documentary, Ken Burns documentary, about the Dust Bowl, and it was really, really fascinating to see like how people, what their experiences were to live through such a devastating endeavor, such a devastating experience. Having to wake up every morning afraid of when the next dust storm is going to come, breathing in dust, not having rain to grow the crops, and you need rain for crops to grow. So the land turned into a desert, and resources became more scarce, and people's lives became more finite and precious, and people holding on to their lives so much so because it was such a time of peril and negativity that the earth was going through around Oregon plains, something like that or other. And so then we had the rise of new things coming in 1976 to 1984. People were focused on their diets, needing to maintain a nice, clean diet. And the oil crisis that happened. We cannot forget that. I don't remember what year that happened in, but I think it was the early part of the transit. And so now, with food prices becoming more expensive, with our president thinking that climate change is a hoax and we shouldn't bother helping the earth. We are not long-term creatures. We think for the short term, instant gratification, what we want right now. We want right here, right now, instead of many years down the road. Saying by this date, all gas-powered vehicles stop. We switch to electric. To help the earth. And I think that many wounds and a huge conversation around caring for the earth, caring for Mother Nature, because we kind of, is it really too late now? I mean, is it really too late to go back and change things? I mean, is it seriously too late? Have we missed the deadline for helping Mother Earth? Because we really polluted the earth, we trashed it, and all those wounds around not caring for the earth and all those shadows are going to really, really be looked at, especially with those squares, with the 5 squares to Pluto that Chiron is going to make between 2028 and 2030. So, some astrologers say there'll be a lot of natural disasters, all those kind of things. But what is it going to take for us to wake up and change how we treat the earth? Take climate change seriously. Stop polluting the air. Do things and take away the things that are polluting, that are negative, that are toxic to the environment, that are toxic to the atmosphere. And instead, choose to think for the greater plan. Think for the future generations coming in. And so there may be natural disasters, just like Any other time, there may be more. I'm not here to scare you and produce anxiety or panic or instill fear in you when it comes to what horrible things are going to be happening with the earth during this period, and what horrible things are going to be happening to the economy over this whole period of Chiron and Taurus. If things do become scarce, can we cultivate an abundant mindset of being grateful for what we already have during this particular period of time when Chiron is in Taurus? Can we improve? Can we learn from our past mistakes and do better? That's really the question. And Chiron is wounds. Chiron is deep wounds. Thing about the wounds is that we walk with our wounds. We walk through the thunderstorm. We walk through the heat, the storm, the devastation of it all, the dark of it all. And we choose to face these wounds head on. Face our shadows head on. It may be difficult, it may be messy. Chiron represents our wounds, where we were hurt. And the wounds are so deep that they never heal. Psychological wounds, emotional wounds. And in Taurus, it deals a lot with self-worth. The wounds are around self-worth and our sense of security and our sense of developing a stable life for ourselves. And the unfairness of money and a top-down system is going to be really, really looked at under the microscope during this time. And let's hope that things become way less expensive. And let's hope that actual change happens with the things that need to be changed and rearranged with Chiron and Taurus. We heal others. Through healing our own wounds, we can heal others. It's not about healing or fixing the wound. It's about working with it to understand how we can grow from it, how we can integrate it, how we can really, really live out its light side and use the wound as a source of wisdom and strength. And what can we grow from the wound? What can we learn from the wound? Not only this, the sun's entering Cancer on the 20th. So this is summer solstice. This is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. Summer is coming. Cancer is a sign of home, family, nurturing ourselves and our emotions. That's what it's really about, is nurturing ourselves and our own feelings, our own innermost feelings. Because Cancer wants to nurture, wants to protect. Cancer is about the survival instinct that we have to survive throughout life. It's the most mothering, nurturing sign of the zodiac that wants to care. So can we care and nurture others deeply at the time when the sun enters Cancer? Can this whole 30 days be about nurturing ourselves in our own bodies, coming home inside our own bodies, and also then from a full cup, nurturing and caring for others, taking care of others, nurturing and caring for others around us, taking care of our family, focusing on the people that we most value, whom we most value, what we most value, what we hold dear. Nostalgia, looking at the past, and Mercury is going to be retrograde in Cancer, so get out the old photo albums, get out the old things, go back to the roots, Go back to where things were, where things began. Go back to what things were before. Go deep. Get introverted. And discuss Mercury retrograde in Cancer later on this month, coming up June 29th through July 23rd. I'll be discussing that transit in depth and also the 12 sign reading for that. And Mercury retrograde in Cancer, really, really introverted, really, really internal, deep, mothering, nurturing. Great time to look at how our emotions affect our thoughts, affect our behavior, kind of thing. Look at our emotional psychology, look at our emotions and mind connection, emotional metacognition. I've been thinking of this title for this episode a while, a time of deep emotional metacognition. That's what I plan on titling this. Yeah. So, looking at the fourth house, your roots, your home, coming home. The 4th of July is during Cancer season. We come home with children, celebrate the fireworks. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's Christmas, so they celebrate that there. The Cancer season is time to spend time in your home, in your root land, and all those kind of things like that. So just thought I'd come in here and discuss these astrological thoughts for very late in the evening live stream. I'm going to get off now, and you will see me again tomorrow for the episode on Jupiter retrograde in the birth chart. And then on the 19th, I'll start with the transits again until the end of the month. So I'll see you in tomorrow's podcast episode. And until then, I'm going to get off. You can watch the replay of this live stream, and I'm going to see you next time. So, bye for now, everyone. Take good care and enjoy this Chiron and Taurus transit in Cancer season 2025.